If something is important enough, even if the odds are against you, you should still do it. I think it's very important to have a feedback loop where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better. Persistence is very important. You should not give up unless you are forced to give up. I think that's the single best piece of advice. Constantly think about how you could be doing things better and questioning yourself. Some people don't like change, but you need to embrace change if the alternative is disaster. I could either watch it happen or be a part of it. It's okay to have your eggs in one basket as long as you control what happens to that basket. I'm interested in things that change the world or that affect the future and wondrous new technology where you see it and you're like, wow, how did that even happen? How is that possible? Failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough. When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. I would like to die on Mars, just not on impact. The first step is to establish that something is possible. Then probability will occur. I don't create companies for the sake of creating companies, but to get things done. I think it's very important to have a feedback loop where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better. I'm not trying to be anyone's savior. I'm just trying to think about the future and not be sad. You want to be extra rigorous about making the best possible thing you can. Find everything that's wrong with it and fix it. Seek negative feedback, particularly from friends. Really, the only thing that makes sense is to strive for greater collective enlightenment. Great companies are built on great products. I think it's possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary. The future belongs to sustainable energy, and that means it will belong to companies that create it. My biggest mistake is probably weighing too much on someone's talent and not someone's personality. I think it matters whether someone has a good heart. It's very important to like the people you work with. Otherwise, life and your job is going to be quite miserable. I think it's very important to have a feedback loop where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better. Life is too short for long-term grudges. I think it's possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary. You shouldn't do things differently just because they're different. They need to be better. People work better when they know what the goal is and why. It is important that people look forward to coming to work in the morning and enjoy working. I would like to allocate more time to dating, though. I need to find a girlfriend. That's why. I need to carve out just a little more time. I think maybe even another 5 to 10. How much time does a woman want a week? Maybe 10 hours? That's kind of the minimum? I don't know. Brand is just a perception. And perception will match reality over time. Sometimes it will be ahead, other times it will be behind. But brand is simply a collective impression some have about a product.